Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. We are built by Sparkies for Sparkies. Our vision is clear: make money, build wealth, be kind. Our mission is deliberate. We help electrical, solar, and aircon business owners generate revenue, drive profits, and control their time. If you would like to hear more about our program, please reach out. I'll chuck the link in the show notes and enjoy the podcast. We always hope it's beneficial for your business. We hope it cuts through noise and helps you understand what's important and what's non-negotiable. Thanks so much for all your support so far. We appreciate you. We love you. Enjoy the podcast. Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. Crowe here, coming at you for part 2 of, what is it? Let me just go and check. 5 simple ways to make more money in your electrical business. Really simple and not rocket science. I will suggest not rocket science, incredibly simple. And I think when you peel everything back to be as simple as possible, but not simpler, that's where the magic can start to happen in your electrical business, your aircon business, your solar business, in your service business, whatever you're doing. We went through point number 1 last week, which is weekly revenue exceeds weekly expenditure. And I know that sounds, of course, yeah, revenue exceeds expenditure. I know it sounds so simple, but the amount of people that aren't doing that well enough is absolutely psycho. And the amount of people that could be doing a little bit better in that is, once again, it boggles the mind. It's absolutely crazy. So basically, you want to be achieving a lot more revenue than your expenses. What are your major expenses? You've got in COGS, you've got billable labor and materials, and anything billable essentially, and that gives you your net profit. And that gives you your gross profit. To get to your net profit, you've got operating expenses and non-billable labor. So it's like, how can you do what you're doing more effectively? Do you need to drive revenue? Do you need to train, hire, retain, and get long-term staff members and long-term clients? Do you need to improve any processes on site? Do you need to improve a variation pathway? Do you need to improve your off-site practices? Are you just spending so much money to get your business operating, to get that cost per acquisition? So it's like, if you're spending a whole lot of money on SEO and advertising, maybe your business is just too heavy. Maybe the carpet doesn't match the drapes. If you've got 3 admins, 3 BDMs, business development managers, and you got 2 VAs, and you got yourself, and you got someone else in the office, you might be, I'm so good, I finished work on time, cool, but you're not making any money. I'm at the beach, cool, I've achieved my pathway of being off the tools, cool, but you're not making any money. And one of the major points of business and one of the major ethos is around Sparky Coach is you say it with me now, what's our 3 core motives? Everyone that's an avid listener of the pod, it's make money, build wealth, be kind. Basically, there's no real point doing it if you're not making money. And there's no point making, this is for some people. There's no point making money if you're not building wealth. Across business wealth and personal wealth, building your asset base. Some of us are making really good money and we're just spending it. We're just like Oprah. I'm going to spend it here. You get this, because I deserve it. And what you actually deserve, just pull the car over. Look at yourself in the mirror. What you actually deserve is in 15 years that you would have an asset base where you could choose what you wanted to do with your life, that you would be still receiving money from your asset base, that you would be basically have built business wealth and personal wealth. You would have the choice to do what you wanted to do with your time. That's what you deserve. That's the seeds you want to sow. And you might have to make some short-term sacrifices for some long-term goals. You might have to set some plans in place to get to that point. It's absolutely huge. Make money, build wealth. There's no point making money if you're not building wealth. And there's no point making money and building wealth if you're not being kind. And be kind to yourself, be kind to others, because most of us want to get to a point in 15, 20 years time where it's unfortunately not everyone's story, but you want to be married to the same person and a good dad and this kind of stuff. You want to be a solid member of the community. You want to have achieved. You want to be someone who you're proud of, someone who your kids are proud of, someone who the community's proud of, and you want to be stacking up these decisions. You want to be being kind. You want to probably be still fit and healthy and sexy and playing squash and playing cricket if that's your vibe, playing soccer, playing basketball, going surfing, still active, doing things to help out the general community, make money, build wealth, be kind. That's what you deserve. And they all need to coexist. Some of you guys are being kind. I'm being really nice to everyone, but not myself. I'm being really nice to our clients, been really nice to everyone. I haven't charged, I don't make any money yet. Why not? Like, why? That sucks. No one wins at that point because you're doing something that's a lie. You can't sustain it. You can't sustain losing money over a long period of time. You can't sustain earning less than you would for someone else for a long period of time. You can't sustain not building wealth for a long period of time. Get this. You can't sustain being a dickhead for a long period of time. Truth stands the test of time, and lies are soon exposed. If you ever wondered, oh, that person's getting further ahead than me. Oh, but they're not quite honest. Truth stands the test of time. Lies are soon exposed. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow, but that person sowing those dishonest seeds, that person making up those lies for those upsells, that person being a dickhead in the community will eventually, they'll unravel themselves like a sweater, like a pulled thread on this sweater. That's what's going to happen. And at that point, and you don't want to be that person anyway. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Our ideal client is someone that would change Betty's light bulb for free. That you would go to Betty's house and you would change her light globe and you'd just be like, you know what, Betty, don't worry about it. That's so cool. If you are that person, we like you. If you're a dickhead, there's still time for you to change. There's still time. There's still time. All right, so cool. So I think like to put everything in context, if you've just landed here from somewhere, basically we've gone through this whole compound growth. So what in 15 years, what could you achieve in business and personal wealth? And some of the results will absolutely stagger you. You'll be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. If I just put one foot after the other, if I just take these steps in this direction, yeah, I'm not going to be perfect. Yeah, there's going to be some struggles, but you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep doing the right thing. Yeah, I'm going to make some mistakes. That's not going to stop me. That's not going to get me down from getting up tomorrow morning and keep doing the right thing. One foot after the other over a long period of time should land us, would land us, could land us. Forget that. Will land you. Will land you. Get that shoulda, coulda, woulda attitude out of here. This will land us in a solid position, business wealth and personal wealth, in 15 years' time. This is the goal. This is the goal. We're going to set some goals, one foot after the other. The coolest thing about having a bit more of a longer term plan is going like, hey, well, that's cool. It takes a bit of pressure off my day today because I'm not trying to achieve everything overnight. Anyone remember that Rachel Hunter commercial, the Pantene commercial? It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. And that's what I'm here to tell you. You're not going to be some kind of business sensei, black belt. It's not going to be a master class, but in 15 years, it probably will be. If you just put one foot after the other, it's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen if you set your trajectory and you get moving. So it takes a bit of pressure off that short term, hustle, bustle. I'm going to make 1 million phone calls and I go turbo psycho for 12 hours a day and I open the computer every single night. Weekends, what's that? I'm going to get to work. Cool. That's probably not going to land you in a position where you're someone you want to be around and your family wants to be around in 15 years' time. How long can you ignore the people that love you before there's some sort of ramification in that? So I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm saying a lot of times working hard and working smart need to complement each other. So in some ways, it takes pressure off the short-term turbo psycho need to achieve. And it puts a little bit more, oh, cool, if I just put one foot after the other 15 years, I can achieve this. And on the other hand, it's like if I want to be that person in 15 years, if I want to achieve that level of business wealth and that choice of what to do with my time, if I want to achieve that level of personal wealth with a solid asset base built of personal property, commercial property, shares, crypto, if that's your vibe, NFTs, if you're just going like, balls to the wall style, whatever, you've got to be building some form of asset base that you're comfortable with, that you understand how it works, that you understand is a long-term play. It is sowing seeds to be that person to achieve that level of wealth in 15 years' time. It also puts a bit of pressure on what's happening today. So in one aspect, it takes pressure off you. Oh my gosh, I feel so relieved because I've got 15 years, 20 years to do this. On the other hand, you're like, you know what? How do I get to that mountain 1 foot after? It puts a bit of pressure on our day-to-day stuff. And that's what you want. You want to feel a little bit of pressure, and you don't want to take the pressure too far down, John Farnham style. You don't want to ramp it up a little bit. Okay, so point number 1, weekly revenue exceeds weekly expenditure. That was last week. This is part 2. Step 2. Part 2, step 2. Look at your net profit across closed jobs. So across a job you're starting and finishing this week. So this is a job that you've started or finished this week. So between Monday and Friday, or your invoicing period, you have started it, you've changed that PowerPoint, and it's ready to invoice. You've started it, you've done that rewire, it's ready to invoice. You've started it, you put those solar panels on the roof, it's ready to invoice. You go with me on whatever job, you get the picture. You've started it, you've finished it, and it's ready to invoice. That's what we call at Sparky Coach a closed job. One that's closed, it's finished, and it's ready to invoice. No callbacks. no callbacks. No callbacks. Callbacks suck. All right, so we're looking at net profit across closed jobs. So the job you're starting and finishing this week, how are they going? Now, I sit with lots of people. At Sparky Coach, we sit with lots of people. Most people aren't achieving the net profit across the jobs they're starting and finishing that they would hope to desire. Or some things are working and some things aren't working. So a major drama that I see is that you can get a top-down perspective of step 1. Weekly revenue exceeds weekly expenditure, or monthly revenue exceeds monthly expenditure. So you get a top-down view and be like, okay, what I'm doing is working. And this is everybody's story. When they come onto the program, when they first start measuring jobs, they're like, holy crap, all the weekly revenue exceeds weekly expenditure, it's made up of a whole bunch of jobs. like what is revenue? It's your 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs you're getting through that week, 100 jobs, whatever business size you're at. So of those 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 jobs, some things, no doubt, you're doing absolutely legendary. Do that again. Some things you're doing absolutely diabolical. Don't do that again, or stop doing that, or change something. And the drama is when we get a big overview like, oh, it's working as a holistic picture, and we're not diving deep into the actual jobs that are making up the total revenue per week and per month. You can get like I think it's working, but I guarantee you're losing money, or you're not making as much money you could across your closed jobs. Now, when we talk a closed job, you've got to think about what are the line items in this closed jobs. What from left to right, what actually happens. So basically what you're looking at is revenue. So what is the revenue line item? It's the original quote, and did I capture any variations? That's essentially the revenue line item. Did I get the original quote right, or did I miss any variations along the way? And so often, and I encourage everyone to check every job before they send it, because so often you can look at the revenue and be like, oh, wait, the carpet doesn't match the drapes. And isn't it amazing? I could pull up 30 jobs right now on our spreadsheet, on our new app. Shout out to Dave, our new app. Dave is our new app. It's better than a staff member. It's psycho good. My gosh, coming out July 1 for all Sparky Coach members. If you want to see it, let me know. I'd love to show you. Probably never been so proud of anything in my working career. I'm so proud of this thing. And the coolest thing is I'm proud of it, but it's going to really, really help business owners. It's going to help build business wealth and build personal wealth, and make sure you're sowing those seeds to be where you want to be in 15 years' time. Super cool. But if you look at the revenue, you're looking at going, okay, you can look at, I can show you 30 jobs, and I can show you the revenue versus hours versus materials, and your Sparky brain is going to be able to pick up, hey, that shouldn't have taken that long. 3 PowerPoints. Pfft, you kidding? Are you serious? What the hell were you doing? You could look at it and be like, that job didn't need an apprentice. Did the Quickie Mart guy really say that? What the hell is going on? You could look at it left to right and you could pick it out 100%. Hey, that seemed to take that net profit's not correct. What on earth happened? And you'll be able to trade. Oh my gosh, you call the tradie or whoever did the job. Like, what happened? Oh yeah, they added 3 more PowerPoints. I forgot to put it on my job notes. And I love all this stuff that, and I'm a big fan of the chat and Claude and anything AI coming on top. Don't get me wrong, huge fan. With our app building, I built Dave, basically with my coder friend, who's also called Dave, just to throw a spanner in the mix. But I built this app. Basically, I think Claude fast-tracked me 3 years. I reckon in the last 3 months, I've achieved 3 years worth of work just by the iterations of throwing something in there. What does this look like? Yeah. What does this look like? Nah. Adapt, change, chop, brainstorming. I am all for it. I'm just saying, a lot of times and a lot of things coming out, they're like all these different apps that are pitching at you. They're like, we'll take pressure off your admin. Oh, you will get this. Never miss a variation. Never miss a quote. I'm like, cool. But the information's only as good as what's getting poured into it. So never miss a variation. Cool. But what if the tradie on site, the person on site never submits the variation? Then guess what? You've missed the variation. So it's like, guess what? They never put that line item on their job notes. You've probably missed it. Like, so you got to be, the information in all these systems is great, and what we can achieve is great, but it's only as good as what goes into it. You can have the sickest exercise plan or diet plan. If you're not sticking to it, there's going to be huge ramifications that you might not feel today, might not feel tomorrow, but you will feel at some point down the track. So if you look at the line items, you've got revenue, and you can look at it and be like, that doesn't seem right. Call them, oh my gosh, yeah, added this. Oh, thank God. Now I can add some more line items to the revenue. And we all know the rules of invoicing. If there's a problem with the invoice, there's a problem with the process. So if I invoice you for $2,000 and you're like, what the hell? There's been a huge issue in the lead up to that. If you've ever sent an invoice and the client has had a problem with it, probably 95% chance it's you. You are the issue. There's a 5% chance of dickhead clients. I would encourage you to steer clear of them, to not work for them, to not work for them again. But 95% of the time, you are the dickhead. You are the one that is spending someone's money without speaking to them properly about it first. And then you're wondering why there's an issue. So it's like, oh, can you do this? Can you add this? Can you add this? Yeah, of course. Yeah. 3 weeks later, 1 week later, here's the invoice. Bam, 10 grand. Bam, 20 grand. Bam, 40 grand. The client's like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. And you're like, what do you mean you weren't expecting that? You added all these line items. I was there on site with you. You said an extra PowerPoint in the vanity. You wanted the heated towel rail. You wanted the single rail heated towel rails. Ah! And you're going, and it's the real issue is, you didn't communicate along the way that 5 lots of $200 is $1,000, 10 lots of $1,000 is $10,000. Clients can rack up huge variation bills without realizing it. And if you went to Harvey Norman and you walked around and you were like, you went there for an iPad, and then you go and, you know what, I want a TV. Oh yeah, I want those pens as well that ride on it. I need a camera too. Couple of screens, 4 screens. I'm going to be like Tony Robbins on the screen. Just go crazy. I want these screens. I need some cords. I also want this. I want a computer. I want it. And then you walk out. You're going to have to pay for that stuff before you leave. And if the bill's 20 grand, you're like, oh, fine, yeah, okay, yeah, I got heaps of stuff. Cool, sweet. Now, here's the thing. If you didn't want to go ahead with that, you haven't taken the stuff home yet. So you can be like, oh, you know what? I won't take the laptop. I won't take this, I won't take that, I've got a 10 grand budget, I'll stick to that. Now, too many times a client's walking through with electrical shaped eyes. And they're like, we have this, we want this. Oh, I want provision a spa circuit. Actually, can we provision data points everywhere? Because I want my kids plugging things in. Actually, can we do this? Can we do that? And it's like, if they're not aware they've racked up a $10,000 bill, they might not be aware that they've racked up a $10,000 bill. let me say that again. If the client's not aware, they might be not aware. So you want the client to receive the invoice and be like, 10 grand? exactly what they said. There should be no issues. You don't want them to receive a 10 grand bill after the work's been done and you're like, well, that's what you said. It's like, okay, well, where could have you gone better along that pathway? Too many issues are just communication issues from our end. And if we can get better and improve our communication, this is why quoted works is always the best way forward, you know, and there's still dramas on quoted works. If something takes longer, or if there's a price book for 10 items and they go and add 4, if there's a price book and it's on cost at a different amount, just because you're price booking or quoting or cost plus, it doesn't take out that necessity to talk to people. So most people have a price book or whatever, some kind of price per point on their quoted jobs, and the client goes and adds 30 of these things, the client still needs to know where that's at to. If you can hinge that back to, oh yeah, well, that's just the same price as the original, that is the cleanest and easiest way forward. But the client they should know how much it's going to cost, or pretty close to how much it's going to cost. Then they can make a decision if that's how they choose to spend their money or not. Too many of us are spending our clients' money without properly talking to them, and then we're confused about why they're acting like this. Why are you acting like this? Because the invoice came 3 weeks late and it was $10,000 more than you said. And the biggest problem, I will say this, the biggest problem is that you might get away with a bunch of them, but you're going to come unstuck eventually. So you might talk to a client, say, oh, I didn't realize that was going to happen. Yeah, okay, I get it. They were here. I'll pay it. And the next client's like, oh, it's a bit more than I thought. Speak to their partner. It's a bit more than I thought. Yeah, I'll pay it. But somewhere down the food chain, you're going to get eaten by T-Rex. That just noms on your revenue. And you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and being like, I should have changed this process years ago. I should have been different years ago. Problem with the invoice, problem with the process. Don't spend the client's money without their approval. All right, so you got your revenue line item. Next to revenue, so it's basically original quote, did you miss any variations? Next one is site hours. This is crazy. Like, I really want to encourage you on a gross profit to net profit conversation. Revenue, next stop is how many hours did we spend on it? Now, did it go longer or shorter? If something's consistently going longer, and you're on a pre-build price book, you might need to adapt or chop or change that pre-build or price book. Now, if you looked at a job holistically, you've got 3 parts to a job. You've got the original quote, or the front costing, as we call it. So I reckon we can do the job for this. Then you've got the handling, and then you've got the back costing. So it's like, did the hours predicted on the front cost match the hours that we spent on site? And if not, we've got a foundational, maybe we're working with a staff member that absolutely sucks. Maybe your price book is a little bit undercooked. Maybe your price book is a little bit overcooked and your conversion rate sucks because you're trying to make too much money per job. Whole bunch of issues here, right? Whole bunch of like potential problems here. Not that making too much money is a problem, but sometimes it can be. If you're converting 2 or 3 out of 10 jobs and your prices are astronomical, you might find, hey, we're wasting so much time, energy, effort acquiring I'm going to site, I'm doing this, I'm getting the quote back on time, we're just converting so low. And it just might be the fact that you're trying to convert too much too high. And if you just drop your pants a little bit, if you just show a little bit of the nipple and you stick to your 35% net instead of 45% net, your conversion rate might go through the roof. When your conversion rate goes through the roof, your happy clients probably go through the roof because you're delivering excellent on-site work. Now you've got more people that are going to tell more people about your excellent product, and the revenue cycle continues forward and propels forward with excellent momentum. So you've got your labor hours. Now, the interesting thing about labor hours is did it take longer or shorter than I expected? And did I need my apprentice? Did you need the apprentice? One of the most underrated things is people just cooking on the fry pan their net profit because they're carrying an apprentice around. And that's gross profit, actually. They're cooking their gross profit, which actually cooks your net profit anyway, because they're carrying an apprentice around where they didn't need someone. Now, this puts a healthy emphasis on scheduling. Did I need the apprentice there or not? Or actually, that was a 2-person job. Cool. Actually, that was a 1-person job. It should have been rescheduled from the office into a day of 1-person jobs, because that apprentice might as well have been a potato or an unoiled stuck pair of pliers? How many of us can relate to that? So you look at it and you're like, did the job go longer or shorter than I thought? I'm adding my 45 minutes travel in. How does it perform then? Sometimes it's performing when you measure site hours for site hours, but on all jobs less than 8 hours, I always encourage everyone to add an extra 45 minutes. If you're in a small town, you could convince me to add half an hour, but across the trajectory of your year, more than likely 45 minutes is going to be absolutely key. I've lived in two areas my whole life, one Hinterland Byron and the other Sydney. 45 minutes is applicable to both of those. If you're in Cairns and you're literally driving max 15 to 20 to 30 minutes, cool. I will let that slide if it's up to you. So the site hours, tradie, apprentice, subby, were they all needed? Did it take longer than I thought? What was the pay rate? Sometimes pay rate is psycho level can make a difference. A lot of time there's a price difference between a tradie of 45 or 50, and whether you take 2 hours, it's additional $10 across. It's not going to be the biggest deal. But when you're carrying the apprentice, and the apprentice is a junior or a senior, that's going to make a huge difference into your net profit. I will say a lot of times when we sit with people on cost plus jobs, they're partnering their highest paid tradie with a mature age apprentice, and you just basically, if you're on an hourly rate and your hourly rate's 120 and 80 or whatever your hourly rate is, and you've got your highest paid people going to those jobs, do you have to? Can you partner your highest paid tradie? Do you need to even use a highest paid tradie? Can you save a couple of dollars there and use someone who's just as good, just not on that money? And then can you get your highest paid tradie on the other jobs? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell. But can you partner your highest or someone up there with a junior apprentice? All this stuff makes a huge difference, right? Huge. So site hours and pay rates. You got materials. Did the materials cost what I thought they would? Yes, no, maybe. And that's a huge one. If you're ever also on materials, and this is interesting, but like most people talk in markup, and you should, that's so cool. Talk in margin, talking gross profit margin, net profit margin. So markup is essentially, I get my materials for $1,000 and I put, let's just say 20% on it. It's easy math, right? I put 20% on top. So it gets your buy price and puts 20% on top of it, like a chunk, 20% on top. What margin does, it gets your profit, which is $200, $1,200 minus $1,000, $200, divided by your sell price, which is $1,200. So 200 divided by 1,200 gives you 16.6%, 16.67, close enough, right? Now, the interesting thing is you're like, oh, they're so similar, 20% markup, 16% margin or 17% margin rounded up. Now, the interesting thing is, think about this. Think about me buying $1,000 worth of materials and putting 100% markup on it. So 1,000, and then I'm putting $1,000 on top of that, 100% markup. My sell price is what? 1 plus 1 is what? 1,000 plus 1,000 is 2,000. So now if you take the margin calculation and go, what's profit divided by sell price? 1,000 profit divided by sell price 2,000 gives you 50%. So a 16%, or let's take it from markup, a 20% markup is a 16.67% margin. A 50% markup is a 33% margin. And a 100% markup is a 50% margin. Now, why does that matter? Because the only thing you're going to see at the end of every single year is your net profit margin and your gross profit margin. And if you're only talking in markup, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. I thought we were marking this up a lot. I thought we were doing this a lot. But it's not reflecting because they're two different things. Two different things. So materials, make sure the carpet matches the drapes and there's a margin on top. Third-party costs, things like level 2 or excavator hires or scissor lift hires. There's got to be buy price with a margin on top. So essentially, what you're left with at the end of measuring is the fields I talked about then. Revenue, tradie side hours, tradie pay rate, apprentice paid hours, apprentice pay rate, plus travel in there as well. Now that's going to give you, and plus materials and third-party costs, that's going to give you your gross profit and your gross profit per hour. If that looks good, then you have a healthy exchange between your revenue and anything billable or uncostable. When we get into net profit references all the stuff that gross profit references, but it just adds in operating expenses and non-billable labor. So sometimes your gross can be good and your net is bad. Sometimes they're both good, right? Sometimes the only reason your net profit looks good is because you're running a psycho good back-end low administration business. Sometimes the only reason your net profit looks good, go with me here, is because you're working 30 hours on the tools, you're doing 40 hours after hours, you're volunteering all this administration time, all this high level time into the business at zero cost to the business. So it's like, oh, I'm making good money, cool. But if you were to pay someone to do the same job back end, it's first and foremost going to take them twice as long, and it's going to chip away and crack and crumble your net profit. And you're going to be left growing the business going like, I used to make such good money when I was with 2 or 3 of us. Now there's 5 or 6 of us. I'm working normal hours. I'm not volunteering that extra 30 hours into the business anymore. Now I'm paying someone that 30, which is taking them 60. And I'm training people quoting. And you wonder why the carpet doesn't match the drapes. And it's so huge. This is why you see people growing a business and they're like, oh, I used to be so profitable. It's because you don't understand your break-even rates. You don't understand like how many hours you were sinking into. You don't understand the progressive pathway. We call it the beast meter. It forecasts our revenue forecast, our profit forecast, gross and net. It looks at materials and margins. It looks at break-even rates. It looks at operating expenses. It looks at non-billable labor. It looks at ratios. It basically is the single tool you will need to grow the business. The people performing in the top 10 to 20 people in our program know how to control their break-even rates from top to bottom. They know everything. They're like, they might as well be me controlling the calculator, and they're measuring every single job. There's no secret. You want a secret? The secret's doing the right thing. It's crazy. I'll land a plane on this because it's super interesting that you can split your overhead between service and project. So you might have your service overhead at hypothetically 55, and you might want your project overhead at 45. Or vice versa. You can chop and change this. But if you don't know where your overhead sits, if you don't know where your break-even rate sits, if you are legit pissing in the wind, you might want to fix this. If you are just going through the motions and you're on a good revenue and you're making good money, and let's say you're on a 3 mil revenue and I am going good. It's like, cool, what would an extra 2% look like for you? It's $60,000 in your business account. What about 5%, right? It's absolutely crazy. 5 times 3 is what? 15. That's 150 grand extra in your business account just because you stopped and checked a few things. Now, if I told you, hey, can you sit in that room for me between 12 and 4 every single Tuesday, and at the end of the 12 months, I'll give you 150 grand. Would you do it? And if the answer is yes, then lock yourself in a room between 12 and 4 every single Tuesday and close the week. There's no secret. It's just discipline over time is going to lead you, and discipline and good decisions over time, working hard and working smart over time is going to give you the best shot at building personal wealth, building business wealth, creating an asset. Business is an asset. I've got other assets and I'm still who I want to be 15 years time. I really thought we'd get through more today, but we've done 2 steps. Stay tuned for part 3. I guess we'll see how we go with that one. But yeah, far out. The 5 simple ways to increase or make more money in your electrical business is step 1, weekly revenue must exceed expenditure. Step 2, your jobs you start and finish that week must be profitable. And if they are profitable, how can they be more profitable? If they're already as profitable as they can be, how can you get more effective, efficient in your overhead, in your billable hours, in your processes, in your systems, in your training, in your ecosystem? Thanks for hanging out. Peace. That's a wrap on another episode of the Sparky Coach podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. It would mean a lot to us if you could like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify and leave a comment if you think that pleases the electrical gods. And we hope this episode and all our episodes propel you in your trade God ordained destiny of making money, building wealth, and being kind. Thanks so much for all your support. See you guys soon.